Hey guys, so because we're not going to be going back, and also because they're about to start reopening Texas, which means you're going to be able to go out and go to stores and go to different places, of course, using your 6 feet apart precaution and a face mask. That's why this week my project is that I am going to teach you all how to make your own face mask out of things you have around the house. So first of all, I posted on Monday about having you guys already collect your materials. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the materials before we begin this process. First, you're going to need, I said, an old shirt. Now, because I've made these for several of my family members, I bought a new shirt from Walmart, which is also an option. You know, I went to the little boy section. I bought a 2XL. Okay. They are $4 if you're going to buy a new one. If not, I've also made them for my children out of my children's shirts, so anything works. Okay. You need something that we're going to put around the ears. So options. Girls probably have a lot of these. Boys, I know mom's got to have at least one. These are hair ligas. They're hair ties in English, right? Hair ties or ligas. We have rubber bands, which is what I'm going to be using today. Okay. A real liga, right? The one that'll pop you. And there's other stuff out there. You can even use yarn. You can braid it and sew it in. There's a lot of different options. Okay. You are going to need a sheet of paper to start this project because I'm going to give you the pattern, which is what you trace and cut out before we begin. In order to do that, you're going to need a ruler, something to write with. This doesn't matter. It could be anything. It could be a pencil, it could be a marker, it could be a highlighter, preferably something dark because you're also going to have to trace the pattern onto the shirt. And you're going to need scissors. Scissors is important. And you're also going to need thread. You're going to need a needle to sew with, which I have it here. Okay, there's my, oh, didn't mean to do it like that. There's my needle to sew with, my thread. And these are the sewing pins that I was talking about. So maybe your mom's got some laying around. If not, if you really want to ask a favor, I believe they have these for like 97 cents in places. So they're kind of helpful to have because it keeps everything together until you need it to move. So when I'm doing the example over this video, I am going to be using sewing pins. Okay, so gather all your materials, and when you're ready to go, come back to this video and hit play. Okay. Step 1, we need to make a pattern. This is the pattern that we're going to be using to make the mask. Now, to make this, you're going to follow these steps. We're going to start with a sheet of paper. Any sheet of paper will do, even out of a notebook. Okay? Fold it in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again so that it's down to this size. Okay? So we folded it in half twice. Now, after this, what's very, very important is that you realize that if you set it up like a little house, we're going to start measuring from this corner. Okay? Now, this is the one with closed. There's another little house, but it's open. Okay? So make sure you're doing it from the center of the paper. Okay? Your first measurement, we're going to use centimeters. You're going to make a mark, okay, at 4 centimeters and at 8 centimeters. There's going to be 2 marks you're going to make right now. So let me make my marks, and then I'll show you. You're going to make one at 4 centimeters, and you're going to make one at 8 centimeters. So, there you go. 4 and 8 from the top, from the center of the paper, okay? Then, on the opposite side, okay, you're going to make a mark from the top. So remember, this is the top we use. You're still going to do the top, but it's going to go down 3 centimeters. Now, I know some of you guys, especially the boys, are like, why am I even watching this? Because you have to. It's your job for this week. Okay? So, this is what we have so far. We have 4, 8, and 3. Okay? What you're going to do next is you're going to take your ruler or a straight edge of some sort. We're going to connect the 8 line to the 3 line. Okay? So let's go ahead and connect our 8 line to our 3 line. It's going to look like this. Okay? Then we're going to connect. We're going to have to draw a new, we're going to make another mark. Along this line, starting from where we measured 8, you're going to measure 1.5 centimeters, 1.5. So let me show you. Let me measure. Okay. And I'll write it out so you can see. So I measured down. I took my ruler, okay, and I measured down 1.5 centimeters, and I made a mark. We're going to connect this mark to the 4. So let's connect those. Okay? And finally, let me make sure I'm doing this all right. The last mark. Yes, last one. Okay? From our 3 side, we're going to measure 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters down and make a mark along the line. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to measure down 2 centimeters. You're going to line up your ruler and measure up 2 centimeters. Now this one, we're going to draw a straight line up to the top of the paper. So it's going to look like that. We drew a straight line up to the top. Okay? This is our pattern. What you're going to do is we're going to cut from 4 to 1.5 to 2 and up. So let's go through that. Cut everything all together. All together. We're going to cut together. Okay, don't separate it. Don't only cut half. Cut everything all together. And once you cut it, okay, when you unfold, you have the pattern that we're going to use for the mask. That's step 1. Okay, get ready for step 2. Okay, you've made it to step 2. You have a pattern, and now we need our shirt. So what we are going to do is we are going to trace our pattern onto our shirt. Now what you're going to want to do before you trace, okay, you're going to want to find something. So I'm actually using what this is hiding behind here. It's my tiny ironing board. You can do this on a table. It's the best way to do this. But because I'm showing you in a video, I'm going to use my ironing board. Okay, you want to make sure your shirt is as flat as possible before we start tracing or before anything. Also, don't be afraid to use a marker. I use the Sharpie markers because it's very dark and it shows really well. Okay, so we are going to trace our pattern onto our shirt. Now there's different ways to do this, but those of you who have been with me know that I'm very, very exact about things, and I know that if I trace everything, like trace it, I'm not only gonna mess up my paper pattern, but it might slip or it might something. So here's a simple, easy system that I've done. At every single corner, I put a dot. So if you're more comfortable tracing everything out, go for it. But me, that's not your teacher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot. You have to put one here in the middle too, okay? Don't forget the middle piece. So you try to hold it still. I'm doing my best when it's standing up. And you put a dot at every corner. Bottom ones too. And when you take it off, it's gonna look a little bit funny. Okay? You've just got a whole bunch of dots on your shirt. So I don't know if y'all can see them, but they're there. Now that's where you go back and you get something straight, and you're gonna draw this line with something that's not flimsy like a paper. So I can put my ruler now with these two dots, and I can connect it just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go around connecting these dots until it looks like the pattern that I had. So here, remember this one looked like a little V, just like that. This one looks like a little V. And don't worry about the dark lines, because when we start sewing this thing, those black lines are gonna actually be inside the sewing and you're not even gonna see it. For those of y'all that don't think you're good at sewing, I am going to show you with this one the easiest way to make a mask. You can make one for yourself. These fit adults. So if you have a mom or dad that's essential and they go to work every day, you can say, hey, guess what I made you today? What my super cool teacher taught me to make. Okay, now, after we have traced our pattern, so you see this one looks like our pattern that we have now. Okay, here's where if you guys got these pins, they're very handy. Okay, because what you're gonna do is you are going to put pins through both sides of the shirt so that when we cut it out, it doesn't move. Now, if you don't have pins, you can still do this, okay? But like I said, I'm a little bit perfectionist, to not use any other words, right? And I like my things to come out super nice. If you have safety pins at home, seguros, those will work too. You can just safety pin it into place. The most important ones are these two, the top and the bottom. These are the most important to not move. Everything else should stay pretty the same. And these pins are gonna be there until we're done. Until it's time to flip it inside out. So I only use 6. Okay, and I'm going to show them to you right now after I put them in. Okay, I put one on the top, one on the bottom, and one on each of our diagonals. Okay, so next step is to cut this out. So let's see if I can do it quickly. That way we don't waste too much of our video time. We are going to cut this out. Should have put some music on or something. All you can hear is breathing and scissors. Okay, almost done. One more piece. Okay, and so the pins that I used help to keep it in place. So now we are done with step 2. We have cut our pattern. Try to hold it out. Cut our pattern out of our shirt. And it is time to sew. So at this point, this is step 3, and we're almost done. There's only 4 different areas of this mask. Step 3 is the sewing part, the big, heavy sewing part. We're gonna sew the top of the mask and the bottom. Now I realize that some of you guys have not sewn before, so I'm gonna give you my sewing tips passed from great grandma on down to me and now to you. Okay, first of all, the first 4 things that we're gonna sew are small. So you only need about as much string from your tip of your hand to your elbow, and you cut it. Okay? All right, that's step 1. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do it one at a time. We're going to do this 4 times. Okay? You thread your needle. So, sure we're okay at threading needles. You get it through. Now, to tie a knot, we're going to do a double string so it's a little bit more secure. Line them up, okay, so that they're even on both sides. Now, here's a trick. Talk to me, okay? You're going to, let's see if I can do it in front of my shirt so you can see it. Wrap it around your finger. Okay, so I wrapped it all the way. Let's see if I can show you. It's around my finger. And then you just roll your thumb and your finger a little bit. So you, okay, let's see. It starts to tangle, and then just pull the tangle down, and it makes a knot. This knot will not go through. Okay, so roll your finger, slide, and then pull it down, and it makes a knot. Okay, the first thing you're gonna sew on your mask are the pieces of the nose. All 4 of them have to be sewn first. So here's what you do. If you're holding it together with pins, don't take the pins out. Just pull it apart, line up the 2 pieces of the V. Touch them all the way on one side only. Okay, so what I want you to notice, both of these come from one side of the shirt. We line them up, okay, and we're gonna sew it. I like to start from the middle, okay? Sewing doesn't have to be hard. It's literally in, out, in, out. So here we go, look. In, out, pull. That's it. In, out, pull. So you see there we have 2. Now, if you get more comfortable with it, you can even speed it up by doing a couple of in and outs before pulling, like in, out, in, out, in, out, and then pull. So you see, I am just making a very simple, it doesn't have to be any of these crazy, like sewing, old lady style version of sewing. It's super easy, okay? So, here's the part where you need to pay attention. So, when you're going to tie a knot, okay, you're going to, I came through, okay, and I'm going to poke through a hole that I already made. So you see how I came back through that hole. You're going to go under one of the lines that you sewed, under, and you see how it makes a circle? You put the needle through it and pull. You're going to do that 2 times. So again, we go under the same line. Don't choose a different way. Let me see if I can put it in the camera. Okay? Right there. I want it to focus. Okay. Under, you pull until it starts to form a loop. See the loop? Right there. Put it through the loop and pull. And then it's done. And you can cut it right here. Just like that. Okay? You're going to do that to every single one of the nose pieces. So this is only one piece. Now, we're going to grab another one and we're going to do it here, here, and here. And we're going to do it 4 times. Okay? So let me speed this process up. Okay, so what you guys should have by now, if you look at your mask, you should start to see that it's folding like a mask. One side will sit inside the other. So we sewed this together, we sewed all the V's on both sides, okay? Our next step is that we are going to sew. So here's your mask, okay? And let me do this on the other side so the pins don't get me. This is how it's gonna go on us. So what we're going to do next is we're going to sew the top. There you go. Now you can hear me. We're gonna sew the top and we're gonna sew the bottom, okay? We're not gonna connect it. We're gonna sew the top, one straight line, and the bottom, one straight line. For this, I use a lot of thread. So I grab it and we unroll it the length of my arm and to my opposite shoulder. So it looks like a crazy amount of thread, but when you're sewing, you'd rather have too much than not enough. Always. So arm, you have it held all the way to your opposite shoulder and cut. Okay? We're gonna thread it onto our needle. Thread it onto your needle, and then we're gonna even it out and tie it just like the other one. So even out your edges. Okay? Wrap it around your finger. Spin and pull. So there's your knot. It's there. Okay? With a thread this long, be very careful not to get it tangled, because then it becomes a mess. Okay? So you just start from one end of your mask. Okay? So I'm going to start. I always have a tendency to go from right to left, just because that's how I write. So you start in the corner and we go. Let me see if I can turn this around real quick. We're going to go in, out, in, out. So I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try to pull it a little bit closer. Just go in, out, in, out. After you've got a couple on your needle, pull your thread through and straighten it out. Make sure you always straighten it back out, because you don't want your mask to get like this tiny. So straighten it out. Let's do it again. One more time. In, out, in, out. And just keep going. In, out, in, out. After you do it a couple times, pull and straighten your mask out. So if it's a little crooked, see I have one that's like rebel out there, it's not straight, that's okay. Because when we're gonna turn this inside out when we're done, and you're not gonna be able to see it. So finish that up, do the whole top and the whole bottom. So at this point, I've done the entire top and I need to tie it off. So remember, you come back to where you're going to see a line. I wanted to do the tie off with you again. Okay, let's see if I can have it focus. You're gonna go under a line that you made. Under a line that you made. When it gets to be a tiny loop right before you pull all the way through. So see, there's a little loop. Put your needle through it and pull. Do that 2 times. So let's do it again. Under, just like that. Pull until it becomes a tiny loop. There's a tiny loop. Put your needle through it and pull. So that's one side. We cut it off. And you have to do the same thing to the other side. So this is what we have so far. We sewed our noses and we sewed half. We still need to sew this half together. And for those of y'all that are using the pins, if you notice, I haven't touched any of my pins. I still have one on top, two, and one on the bottom. So if you're using safety pins or sewing pins, don't touch them yet. I'll tell you when you can take them out. So let me go ahead and get the other side done so that we can finish off our mask. We're almost done, guys. Okay, guys, so at this point we have sewn our nose pieces, and the bottom is what's gonna make it kind of look like it sticks to your face. So that's why one of them is gonna be a nose piece, one's gonna be kind of like a chin piece. We've sewed the top and the bottom. So if you use the pins, now's when you take them out. All of them. You're going to take out all of your pins. Because what we're going to do is we're going to turn our mask inside out. It's going to look a little bit nicer, because the last step is going to be to attach what's going to hang around our ears. So like I said, this last step, you can use a bunch of different things. You can use hair ligas, you can use yarn, you can use rubber bands, which is what I'm gonna try today. I even have, you know, any kind of loop you can find. You can tie something out of the shirt that you cut and use that as well. Okay, ribbon, anything. Okay, so what you have to do is, without, as much as you can without pulling, turn this thing inside out. Okay, so just turn it inside out. Try not to pull on the edges. Okay, you can shake it a little bit. So here's what we have. We have our mask come out, just like that. So what you can see is that now, all of your sewing, if you didn't like your sewing, it doesn't matter. It's gone. You don't see it anymore. Now this is just gonna be the mask that covers your face. But we do need those last two pieces. So you need to find whatever it is. I'm gonna try it with rubber bands. I've never done it with rubber bands, but I'm gonna try it for you guys. Okay? Here's what you're gonna do. At one of the edges, we have to get this rubber band to stay. So I'm gonna try to sew this on and make it stay. So just get any amount of string. It doesn't have to be very long. And we are going to try to sew a rubber band to a mask. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to put the rubber band around the mask. Okay, this part is a little bit tricky. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole mask process. Okay, once you've got the rubber band there, okay, so you see how I kind of put it around? All right, what you're gonna do is you are going to roll your mask just a little bit. We're gonna roll it over the top of the rubber band, and then we're gonna roll it one more time. So it's kind of wrapped up the rubber band in it, okay? And what you're gonna do, without letting go, don't let it go because you got it perfect. We're gonna start sewing. In and out. In and out. So you're gonna sew, oops, in and out down the whole thing. So here, your little in, out, in, out, in, out probably won't work. You're gonna have to push it all the way through till it comes out the back, and then push it back to the front. This is the tricky part because you have to do all of this without letting it go. You can shift your grip a little bit, but don't let it go. Okay? Go the other way. And come back. Go the other way. Out. And then shift your grip and come back in. So you see my stitches aren't perfect. They're not gonna look perfect. Okay, some are big, some are small, but it's gonna get the job done. So, out, in, and you're gonna keep doing that until you get to the edge. Let's see. I'm gonna stick with you through this one so you guys can watch me finish it. In and out, in and out. And your rubber band is tucked up inside there, so everything's gonna work out great. In and out. Once you get to the edge, okay, we are going to tie it off the way that we've done it the whole project. Okay, you're gonna go under a line that you already have. So let me zoom in again. This is the third time I show you this. Under a line that you already have. Okay, you get under both of them. It's not happening here. Okay, and right when the little loop starts closing, stick your needle in and pull. Again, go under the line again. Sorry, you can't even see. Under the line, so my needle's going through it, and right before that closes off, pull tight. Okay, so this is half of your ear set. So once you have it on, you have a rubber band that just goes around your ear. It's gonna hold this mask on you. Okay? Now, let's get the other side and then we'll be done with this mask. Okay guys, so at this point, we've sewed both of our ear straps on. We've got a rubber band in this one, rubber band in this one, and your mask is ready to go out. And you're ready to go to Walmart. Okay, so good luck. Send me pictures of what you tried to make. Even if it doesn't look that great, I'll enjoy it either way. Alright? Good luck on your projects. Can't wait to see them.